Hello my darlings, welcome to a brand new fashion video here on my channel. Today's video is all about finding your personal style, and I've broken it down into 4 easy steps. A couple of years ago, I did a fairly similar video on defining your signature style, and to this day it remains one of my favourite videos on my channel, and actually one that I refer back to really often, especially in these more tips style videos. So I thought, why not freshen it up a little bit and add some new pointers to that topic. I would definitely recommend going back and watching the signature style video. I just watched it back before filming this video, and I have to say I was nodding along like a Winston Churchill dog. I still agree with absolutely everything that I mentioned in that video, even though I filmed it almost 3 years ago. When it comes to having a personal style, for me it just makes putting together your outfits every single day so much easier. Your personal style can represent your personality, it can represent your lifestyle, your job, or just the image that you want to portray to the world. I would say I personally have quite a strong personal style. It's very feminine, it's very classic, and because most of the pieces, 99 if not 100% of the pieces in my wardrobe really suit my personal style, it means that most of the things in my wardrobe go together really well, which just makes putting together an outfit on a daily basis a far less challenging task. I would say that finding my own personal style, it really was probably a decade or so of trial and error. While my style has always been quite feminine, it's really been only in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years that I've been able to really kind of label my personal style and instantly be able to look at something in a shop and know whether it's me or not. So hopefully with these 4 tips, it'll help you to achieve what I achieved in 10 years in a week. That's the plan. Darlings, if you're new to my channel, if this is the first time you are stumbling upon one of my videos, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe. I'm currently doing a video every single day, and I mostly do style content, fashion videos, styling videos, tips, vlogs and things like that, and it would mean the world to me if you do subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok, where I post daily outfits, and my handle is JosieLDN. Let's jump in to tip number 1, and that is to identify what is already working in your wardrobe. This is a really great clue as to what your personal style is. Identify those pieces that you reach for on a regular basis. Forget that anyone would notice. Think about the 5 or so pieces that you would love to wear on rotation on a daily basis if people wouldn't remember that you were outfit repeating, which for the record I don't think there's anything wrong with. At the moment I might say this dress, I'm absolutely in love with it. The silhouette is really elegant and floaty. The colours I love, and they're colours that I generally find myself gravitating towards, pinks and whites and even greens. Now that we are in 2020, I've started to inject a little bit more variety into my colour palette, and the silhouette and length is one that makes me feel really comfortable as well. So it could be a dress. Try to pull out a piece from each product category. What pair of trousers do you feel your absolute best in? What jumper do you look at and think, yes, that is me in a jumper? In my signature style video, I mentioned a beautiful pink Club Monaco jumper with ruffles on the shoulders. I still have that jumper. It's probably about 5 years old now, but it's just so me that I couldn't ever say goodbye to that piece. So try to pull out a top, a pair of trousers, a skirt, a dress, a jacket, and then when you've got those 5 or so pieces, it's time to analyse them. This might be quite a fun exercise to do physically, so why not take a notebook and jot down your answers to the following questions. First of all, look at the items that you've pulled out as your most worn or favourite items, and let's try and think, what do they all have in common? Firstly, what overall image do they project? Are they all really smart professional pieces? Have you pulled out blazers? Have you pulled out a pair of really striking heels? Have you pulled out shirts? Is it just because you wear them to work, or do you actually love those pieces? How would you describe them, and what image do they project? Are they all really feminine? Do they have frilly details? Do they have ruffles? Are they romantic? Any words that spring to mind that sum up all of these pieces, jot those down in your notebook. Next, let's look at the colour and the fabric. Once again, are there any similar threads going through all of them? Are they all light colours? Are they all black? Are they all monochrome neutrals, or are they all colourful? Have you pulled out silk pieces? Have you pulled out classic cotton pieces? Once again, we're trying to find similarities in your favourite items in your wardrobe. Next, let's look at the silhouette. Are they all floaty or are they all form-fitting? Do they all accentuate or hide a certain part of your body? Maybe this is a clue as to what makes you feel confident when it comes to either accentuating or detracting the attention from a certain part of your body. Are the pieces flowing or are they fitted? Are they hip grazing? Are they bust accentuating? Do they make your legs look longer? It might be hard if you've only pulled one piece out of every single product category, but try to analyse each piece and think why you love that certain item and write those tips down. So the answers that you've just found out really reveal what your current personal style is. When you're shopping in the future, and we're going to talk a lot about this in step 4, but you want to have these keywords that you've written down in mind. Of course, we want to avoid buying absolute replicas, but you should aim to find things which are similar in style or similar in how they make you feel to the items which you already get a lot of wear out of. The aim of this video is all about discovering your personal style and hopefully building a wardrobe that represents that rather than getting stuck in a style rut. Okay darlings, the second step for defining your personal style is to look back at your mistakes. So we've just analysed the best things in your wardrobe. Now I'm sorry to say it's time to analyse the worst. I know it's not fun, but take out those pieces in your wardrobe which maybe you regret buying. Perhaps you spent loads of money on a jacket and it's still got the label in, guilty as charged. Darlings, I want you to take out 5 things from your wardrobe which you regret buying, and then I want you to go back to step 1 and ask yourself all of those questions all over again. Are you spotting some similarities? Are there some colours here which you just never find yourself reaching for? Are there some silhouettes which just, yeah, they might look great on that person on Instagram that inspired you to buy it, but maybe they just don't work for you? Consider as well that your wardrobe should be full of pieces that represent who you are now. So if you bought something and you thought, that'll be so great when I lose a little bit of weight or when I have a different career, you should be using every single thing in your wardrobe and not waiting for a time until you can use it. So if there's anything in your wardrobe that sounds familiar for, pull it out, we're going to analyse it. Darlings, equally, don't hang on to pieces which might have worked for you 5 or 10 years ago. There might be really good memories attached to these pieces. This is something that I talk about in a recent video. I gave 8 tips for curating and decluttering your wardrobe. I'll leave that linked up on the screen here. And equally, if you bought something for one special occasion and then never wore it again, that is one of your least worn pieces. So pull it out the wardrobe and let's have a talk about these pieces. So I want you to ask yourself, do you have anywhere to wear these pieces? A strong part of your personal style, of course, has to represent your actual lifestyle. I use this example a lot, but yes, I would love my personal style to be couture ball gowns, but that just does not represent my lifestyle. There's no point in having lots of really spectacular dresses in your wardrobe if you just don't have places to wear them. Also think about, is the item high maintenance? Have you got a gorgeous silk jumpsuit in your wardrobe that you just never wear because every time you even think about sitting down, it gets totally creased up? Unless you're a very patient person, you have lots of time, or you can hire someone to do all of your ironing for you. If something is high maintenance and you don't find yourself reaching for it for that reason, pop it aside and consider that next time you go to buy something in a similar material. How does this item make you feel? Does it make you feel old and frumpy or young and just a little bit silly? Do you feel confident going out in this outfit, or would you be embarrassed if someone that you haven't seen in 5 years saw you wearing it? How's the quality of these items? Are they poor quality, or maybe you bought them just because they were a really good bargain? I had a pair of Charlotte Olympia shoes in my wardrobe which I got at a sample sale just because they were a fifth or maybe even less than that of the retail price, but I never found myself wearing them, so those have now been moved on. But it's interesting to analyse those pieces when it comes to thinking of your personal style. And then the last couple of questions to ask yourself for these mistakes in your wardrobe are, did you buy it for one particular event? Is that event likely to happen again? And also the colour. Let's look at the colour. How does the colour make you look? How does it make you feel? What does it do to your skin tone? In a recent video that I did all about my best pieces of fashion advice, I gave a little bit of an insight into how to find the colours that suit your complexion. So once again, that'll be linked on the screen and down below if you want a little bit more information on this topic. So we're going to go through the same process as with step 1, and we're going to analyse those pieces and analyse the answers to the questions that I've just asked you. What are the similarities? what are your shopping blind spots? What are the mistakes that you're not going to make again? Compare your answers for step 1 and step 2. Are your favorite things feminine with ruffles, and your least favorite things and your regrets slightly more tailored and sharp suited pieces? In your notebook, I want you to jot down the key points of these pieces that you regret buying so that you don't make those mistakes again in the future. Okay, darlings, we've made it through the analysis part. Don't worry, it all gets a little bit easier from here. So the next thing that we're going to do is identify what pieces your wardrobe is missing. This does require a little bit of a rejig, so I want you to separate out the items that you already own into tops, bottoms, jackets, dresses, etc. Now, ideally, you want to have around 3 times the amount of tops as you do bottoms. You might notice that this is the kind of ratio that you'll often see in shops. This is because people most often remember what we're wearing on top, and they'll completely forget what you're wearing on the bottom. Think about the last time you saw your friends. You might remember that absolutely gorgeous blouse that she was wearing, but what trousers was she wearing with it? Unless you have something similar in your wardrobe and you were thinking, ah, that's how I'll style that blouse, chances are you've already forgotten. I would also recommend a 60-40 or 70-30 split between staples and more fun statement pieces. The higher percentage, of course, being the staples. In case you're unsure, when I talk about staples, I mean those classic timeless pieces, often in a solid, neutral colour, things which are building blocks for your wardrobe. And when I talk about statement pieces, these are more trend pieces. They might be bold colours, they might be patterned, they might have interesting textures or design details to them. These are the pieces which we want to have slightly less of in our wardrobes. I want you to think about what items you have in your wardrobe that make the majority of your pieces more versatile. For example, is there a pair of trousers that works with so many of your tops that enables you to get so much more use out of a certain kind of jumper that you have a lot of? Or is there a blouse in your wardrobe which is just a fail-safe and goes with so many different types of bottoms, from skirts to shorts to trousers? Another thing to think about is what you actually spend your time in. You might absolutely love really beautiful floaty sundresses, but do you spend the majority of your time in casual wear or smart suits for work? And also think about if there have been any special occasions recently when actually you've just been totally lost on what to wear. You haven't been able to pull together an outfit from what you already own. Write that down in your notebook as well. And the final thing to ask yourself is, are there any items in your wardrobe which actually you reach for so often and maybe they need updating, such as a pair of shoes which are just so classic, they go with everything, but they're looking a little bit tired, or maybe a pair of trousers. Chances are it's that versatile pair that does go with all of your tops, and maybe they're starting to get a little bit baggy around the knees. These are things, again, to write down in your notebook. So what do these answers show about your personal style? Well, darlings, the things you've written down are the only things that you should be buying moving forward. Consider the ratio when you're shopping and at the start of each season. Consider whether you're actually going to be able to wear these items or whether they're just there to make you feel good, and if they're replacing something that maybe is just already worn out in your wardrobe. If you've struggled with any of the questions that I've just asked, then these are pieces which your wardrobe is missing. Are you missing a classic pair of trousers that will make all your blouses seem so much more wearable? Are you missing a key dress that you could wear to weddings, christenings, summer parties and things like that? Are you missing that structured blazer because actually your wardrobe is filled with feminine floaty things when you do need a slightly smarter blazer for work? Hopefully with these analysis questions you should have a list of things that your wardrobe actually needs, which brings me on to the 4th and final step, and that is how to become a smarter shopper, buying things that you need that represent your personal style. So with the previous 3 steps, we've analysed what you like, what you don't like, and what your wardrobe needs, but I have another final set of questions and things to consider before you do your shopping. Darlings, this might seem a little bit tedious, but please, we don't want to be making any shopping mistakes. We want the things that we buy to last a long time in our wardrobe, and we want to be proud of every single purchase. So these are the questions you should be asking yourself before you hand over any money for a new purchase. Number 1, will it work for my lifestyle? Are you buying this item because you love it, or because you actually can think of realistic ways and realistic places that you can wear it? Something to consider is that the more an item costs, the more important these questions are. We always want to be getting that incredible price per wear out of an item. Where are you going to wear this item? Is it something you're going to be wearing on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? Once again, this should give you an inclination of how much to spend on it. We want to be spending more money on the pieces that we're going to be getting a lot more wear out of. So it could be your work uniform, or it it could be something that will work for the majority of the types of events that you attend in your social time. A rule that I always stick to when shopping is to think, does it go with at least 3 other things in my wardrobe? When I pick up a blouse, I like to think of 3 different bottoms that I already own before I invest in that item. I don't want to bring something new into my wardrobe and then find that I've got nothing to wear it with and then have to go and buy 4 other things just to make that item work. Especially for expensive items, I want you to consider, can you wear it all year round? Is it a pair of open-toed shoes? In which case you can only wear them for half a year, so think about that when considering the price per wear. Is it something that you can layer in winter and wear on its own in summer? And is it something that you're going to want to wear next year, in 5 years, in 10 years? We want to only buy things which are going to stand the test of time. And then of course, practicality wise, does it need to go to the dry cleaners every time it needs washing? Is it something that you can wash at home? Does it require a lot of ironing? Is it going to be a nightmare to iron, in which case you might never bother? Again, learn from the mistakes that we analysed before and think about the care of the item before you invest. Of course, we want to think about the quality of the item. We want something to last and look its absolute best for as long as possible in our wardrobe. A few little things you can look at are the buttons. Are they securely tied on? Are they good quality buttons? Look at any embellishments and how they're attached. Are they stitched on? Are they glued on? And of course you want to look at the fabric. Is it a good quality fabric that's not going to stretch, that's not going to go sheer after a few washes or a few wears? Does the item have a lining? Is it going to be sheer? Are you going to need to wear a slip underneath it? And darlings, if something is patterned, you want to make sure that the pattern lines up on the seams. If it's striped or if it's plaid, even if it's a big floral pattern, it's going to make so much difference if the pattern actually lines up on the seams, because that's going to improve the overall quality of the look of the item. When thinking about whether to buy something, I always think it's really helpful to also have a person in mind. This is something that I always recommend. It could be a fashion influencer, it could be a celebrity, it could be someone that you know in real life, but someone that has a similar style to the personal style that you want to achieve. Think, would that person buy that item? Would it work in their wardrobe? That, I think, is a really good visual when it comes to investing in new pieces to ensure that you're being a smart shopper when it comes to your personal style. Darlings, the final thing to think about, and this is after the shopping process has taken place, and it is to not take off the tags. Once you bring something home or once you unpackage something, let the dust settle a little bit and try this item on with various things in your wardrobe. You already thought about those 3 things it's going to work with. Well, try them on and make sure you are right. Are you going to actually wear that item? Well, my recommendation is not to take the tags off until the first time you actually do. Too many times I have thought, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to wear this beautiful sheer blouse with a gorgeous bralette underneath, but then 4 weeks later and I've still not brought it out of my wardrobe. Have a section of your wardrobe for these new in pieces, and if it gets towards the end of the return policy and you've still not worn it, darlings, it might be tough, but take it back. If you've not worn it while it's still sparkling new in your wardrobe and you're all excited about it, chances are you never will. So darlings, these are my practical tips for developing your own personal style, how to build it, how to analyze it, how to shop for it. I really hope you found this video interesting. As I mentioned, do check out my video along similar lines with slightly different tips on defining your signature style. I'll leave it linked in the description box down below and on the screen here if you just want even more advice, but hopefully this has been really practical, bite-sized, and makes a lot of logistical sense. So darlings, that's all from me for today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. There'll be another style video or maybe a vlog tomorrow, I'm not too sure yet, but do make sure, as I said, you are subscribed if you don't want to miss any of my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and found it useful, I'd love it if you give it a quick thumbs up and let me know your best tips for finding your personal style down in the comment section below. I would love to know your tips and we can share them with other people that might be checking out the comments too. So that's all from me, darlings. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.